Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we've got a Tuesday night slate here, 7 games to choose from. In this one, we're talking about why my New York Knicks, who continue to backslide, are taking on the Cavs in New York. So we'll talk about that one. Got another game where we're talking about the Lakers and Clippers in LA and our player props. So make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us. Also want you to head to thelines.com. You can check out all of our great written content up there and use our odds finder tool as well, where we go ahead and give you all those odds available to you so you can choose and get the best juice back on all these bets you're making in the NBA this season. Nate, let's go ahead and get into this 7-game slate and then talk Cavs and Knicks.
Bulls coming off a low-scoring win against the Hawks are -2 at the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton still out. The Celtics coming off a loss in Orlando are +3 in Miami. We might see Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon, though, after they sat last night. This game, the Cavs are -3.5 now. Total is at 220.5, even though it opened at 225. The Nuggets -1 at Pelicans. Jokic is questionable. Zion out. A couple other guys are questionable for the Nuggets as well. Wizards +7 at Mavs. No Porzingis, no Christian Wood on the other side. Hornets +7 at the Suns. And then the other game we break down, Clips are -5 against the Lakers. And the total is at 230. Been bet down a little bit, but not enough, in our opinion. So this total, you're telling me it opened at 225, huh? And people are betting it down aggressively enough that it got to 219. Seems too low to me. I know the Cavs are the number one defense in terms of points allowed, and they play at the slowest pace over the entire season. But lately, they've switched it up a little bit. I mean, 95 pace is still slow, but 117 offensive rating in January and a 115 defensive rating, despite having Jared Allen and Mobley in there. And their offense can be stuck in the weeds a little bit, but Mobley, coming off a career high, I believe 38 against the Bucks, started to find
no free throws.
No free throws. And Isaac Okoro starting to show some signs on offense. And now they get Donovan Mitchell back after he missed 3 games here. And, of course, I know their offensive rating is slightly higher with him. But I mean, of course, they're going to be better offensively with him. And I think we're both looking for good things from Donnie on extra rest here. He's been off since about 10 days as he goes up against the Knicks, who are coincidentally giving up the 6th most points per game to shooting guards in the last week. Knicks struggling overall during this 4-game losing streak with a 130 defensive rating. So even though they've been playing slowly, they're getting killed in the half court. And with Jalen Brunson not at the controls, they're still killing with a 121 offensive rating. So they've gone over in 3 of their last 4. I know, you're taking a Jalen Brunson under in props. I do not agree. I think he is the man. He had 38 against Washington lately. Anyway, we're talking Cavs here, and not only has Donnie been off for 10 days, but the team has been off for 2+ days. And there's a notable split here in terms of them having their best shooting splits from deep on 2 days rest, in terms of the opponent having their best shooting splits, hitting 13 threes at 41%, the opponent getting the most assists per game in that situation. And they're actually 4-3 to the over in that spot, games averaging 223. So I'm not saying this is a smash spot for the over at all. I just think you're getting a little bit of value since how far it's been bet down, that I think we can get over 220. I do think this will be a close game, and that if it comes down to it, when you're within 5 points or so, you get that free throw game that might help you get over, rather than it being a wide enough margin that it just kind of coasts to a stop. And the Knicks are going over at home by 4 points per game, 14-10 record to the over. But I know you don't trust the Knicks as home dogs. You shouldn't. They're 1-5 straight up. And they're 7-14 against teams with winning records. This is their MO. They don't beat the top teams in the East, but they handle business against the poor teams. And I think the Cavs with Donnie Mitchell back, there's no doubt they're a top team, despite their struggles on the road at times.
Yeah, I don't trust them. This is like, I don't know. This feels like a Tibbs thing, man. Ever since Tibbs got here, it's like 7-game win streak, 6-game lose streak, 4-game win streak, 3-game lose streak. Like, why can't we just put together like, 3-game win streak, 3 out of 4, just went 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4, 2 out of 4. Like it's all like sliding, backsliding, and then going up. But like right now they're just in a clear backslide, and I mean it seems slightly correlated to Mitchell Robinson going out. He left in the middle of the game 3 games ago, and they also got hemorrhaged points the game before that as well 4 games ago. So really, you look at the 4-game sample size, 3 of those games without Mitchell Robinson essentially, and that's that 130 defensive rating that you're talking about, and the way that they're giving up points. I mean, it's crazy because like I'm looking at other stats of other guys and guys that are playing against the Knicks and teams that have been playing against the Knicks, and the way that they're getting stifled. The Knicks are out rebounding them. They're getting more second chance points. They're limiting second chance points, and now that is all a thing of the past because Isaiah Hartenstein is just kind of getting eaten alive down low when he even gets on the floor. So I don't know what to make of that, but like I said, if you're it's really, well, let me be very clear. It was the Raptors. You have to play the Raptors twice, and this team does not match up well against the Raptors because the Raptors don't have a center, and they're not really trying to play that way. And so, we had an advantage, we being the Knicks. They had an advantage down low with Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle, and then, that really sort of went out the door. And they had an advantage even against the Cavs. When you look at the way that this team, they played the 2 games this season, the Knicks in the first matchup had 64 points in the paint. Cleveland had 32, but Cleveland was 23 of 50 from deep. And the Knicks over the last, 4 games that they've been hemorrhaging points have allowed the 7th most 3-pointers made, unsurprisingly. The game before that, it was, December 4th, so just maybe a couple months ago now. And it was still a 99 pace, right? Like these teams are not getting over a 99 pace together in the last, 7 games as well. They're both at like a 94, 95 pace each. But in that first one, or excuse me, the second game they played a month ago, same concept where the Knicks, they won that one by 11, but that was only because the Cavs went 8 for 35 from deep.
Sleepy Sunday
but the Knicks still dominated.
There it was
yeah. Sunday basketball, weird, ugly stuff. Guys not wanting to be there and being hungover, maybe, in New York after going out on Broadway, whatever they're doing. 17 second chance points for the Knicks, 56 points in the paint, just dominating all over the place. And they still, they won that game by 11, but it was the same concept in the first one that they lost by 13. My point is, they're not even going to have that advantage necessarily this game. You're going to have both Jared Allen and Evan Mobley as they, both been back for a while now playing together. And that's what you can expect from the Cavs, not giving up, a ton of rebounds, not giving up those second chance points. And that as a result, the Knicks, I don't know, maybe they're going to have to shoot a bunch more threes, and we'll see if they're able to do that. Obviously, like you said, that 121 rating, offensive rating over their last 4 has been helpful because you've seen a few more minutes for smaller guys. You've even seen Evan Fournier get back in there a few times, and at least provide some 3-point shooting, and that's what they're going to need. So I guess my thing too is like I don't really want to touch this total. I just really trust the Cavs in this situation a bit more, especially because when a push comes to shove, I trust Donnie to do a lot more in this one than I do Jalen Brunson, who's my guy and my favorite Knick of all time, despite being only like tenured for the team for like 50 games. But my point is like in this one, for him, it's a bad matchup. It's something that it's basically since he's been on the Knicks in the 2 games, he's struggled mightily. But even when he was on Dallas, dating back to like 4 games ago, 15 points a game and 4 assists, and that's all in 32 minutes. Still getting around a 23% usage rate, so he's putting up shots. He's not making them, and he hasn't really been making them as of late. I know he had a nice game against the Wizards, and he's had a few 25-point games in there, but I think his props are a little bit high tonight, and I think you can correlate the fact that he might struggle a bit with the fact that Julius Randle also struggled mightily the last couple times that he's played the Cavs, unsurprisingly, with the way they play down low on defense. I don't think they're going to get much in terms of what they're used to getting, and if they're not raining threes in sort of a random 3 times a season fashion that the Knicks do, where they have those random games, like I said, like half a dozen max during the season where they hit like 15, 16 threes. If they're not getting up there, then I don't think that they're going to come along for any kind of ride to get this game up to a nice total or be able to, cover 3.5 points.
Yeah, I mean, these are 2 teams that are built on protecting the paint, and you said Mitchell Robinson out, the Knicks don't have their paint protector. So that's obviously huge advantage for the Cavs, who have both their guys in Allen Mobley. And if Mobley's not going to be a liability on offense, yeah, that's why I like the over a little bit, but that's also why you like the Cavs. Yeah, Sunday game in December, such an anomaly. Both teams shot 20% from deep, is just the ugliest game. Both teams had more turnovers than assists. And I mean, I don't think it gets any uglier than that. And I think that's why we saw such aggressive action on the under when people just looked at the recent results and were like, oh, these teams are going to be an absolute slugfest. But you got to look at how the Knicks have been playing lately, how efficient they've been in the half court, and how much they've struggled without Robinson. Yeah, so I do like the over. I think it's going to be a close one and an exciting game at MSG. That's why I like Donnie Mitchell. And if it does happen to go overtime, the Cavs are 6-0 in overtime this year. So trust them there.
Yeah, and if this one's out of control a little bit late, you might see the Knicks start resting guys. I mean, I know that's not necessarily the Tibbs way, but you've got Celtics, Nets, Lakers, Heat, Clippers coming up in your next 6 games. There's not an easy game in there, especially the way Nick Claxton has been playing, by the way. Shout out the Nets. But that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Check out our other game, Battle of the LA Teams, and our player props. And until we see you next, happy betting.